Hi all, my name is Daniel Garner-Quintero and I'm a licensed mental health counselor and help coordinate the trauma-informed care team here at Counseling and Psychological Services. Our team has been working hard to create the content of the videos that you've seen this week, and I'm here today to provide a brief summary of that information and to try and offer a word of encouragement. I think it's important, first and foremost, that if you haven't seen those videos, please go back and watch them. Heidi and Leanne did a fantastic job providing really solid information that I think it will be helpful to recognize kind of what's happening right now. We started off with Heidi really naming and claiming what's going on right now, that calling this experience for what it is, a collective traumatic experience, and normalizing the variety of emotional reactions that many of us are having to this pandemic. On day two, she talked about coping strategies and a way to manage what we're feeling. As she said in her video, that was not intended to be prescriptive or offer specific advice to a particular person, but rather to generate new and creative ideas to help the UCF community during this difficult time. Generally speaking, the goal in any coping strategy is to allow ourselves to kind of name and feel whatever's coming up for us, find a way to express that emotion through a positive outlet. That can be anything from journaling to art to music to talking to our loved ones and the supports we have in our lives. Those are really important. And she talked about the importance of community care and having people around us, even in our isolated state. And then finally, there are times where our emotions can be so overwhelming and kind of taxing, and we need to kind of take a step back and distract ourselves from them. That's fine. That's good. That's healthy. The problem can develop when we're only ever distracting ourselves, right? It's kind of like a diet just full of sugar and lard, right? Like it may taste really great, but it's not going to have really great outcomes. And so we want to make sure we're always coming back to finding ways of feeling and expressing those emotions. The follow-up to that was Brett walking us through kind of the neuroscience of trauma and stress, how that affects us. And he specifically highlighted the automatic and unconscious processes and actions which drive our survival strategy, namely that dual acceleration and deceleration process, right? Some parts of our brain become almost hyperactive while other parts of our brain become hypoaroused and aren't functioning the way they would when we're not under kind of a chronic stressor or traumatic event like a global pandemic is, right? And then finally, Leanne kind of tied it all together by talking about the ways in which our environments can impact our mental health, specifically toxic environments, and how difficult and trying those can be and how they can add an additional layer of stress during times like this. We thought that was important because so many of our students had done the work, they'd taken the time, they'd put in the effort to work through and get out of difficult or toxic environments, households, families, only to find themselves as a result of stay-at-home orders and lack of access to campus back in a space they never intended to be. And that poses a whole added layer of difficulty, of stress, of emotional reactions, and we wanted to make sure we talked about that. I don't have a specific task, goal, or topic in mind today. I wanted to simply remind everybody that CAPS is here to support a variety of emotional needs. Our trauma-informed care team spends much of its time trying to identify the ways in which our students can be negatively impacted by traumatic or stressful situations and ways to help them recover and heal from these experiences. Our goal in this week in particular was to provide you with information we thought was essential and that would hopefully encourage resiliency and safety amongst our students. There is no doubt, at least in my mind, that this is a very difficult and stressful situation that will go on for an indeterminate amount of time. I unfortunately haven't quite yet mastered the ability to tell the future, so I don't know the outcomes. What I can say from research, right, is that a vast majority of people will recover from traumatic and stressful situations. And that while we spend a lot of our time, simply as a result of our work, focusing on post-traumatic stress disorder and helping people recover from that, there's another very well documented phenomenon known as post-traumatic growth. As humans, we are not defined by the worst things or situations with which we are faced, but rather by our ability to overcome and rise to those challenges. We already see many in the UCF community seeking to make meaning and find connection through this experience. Students and alumni who are working in their communities, knights who are who are in the helping fields, nurses, doctors, first responders, people who are making masks and distributing those, people who are helping to donate to local food banks or faith organizations. Our hope as the trauma-informed care team is to empower our community with solid information and resources to help them move from surviving into thriving. And my final thought is, if you find that you're struggling with this pandemic, which is allowed, that's okay, all of us are, or think that you would benefit from having some additional support to help you maintain your mental fitness and readiness, or if you simply want to discuss options for CAPS to support the organizations you work with, then don't hesitate to reach out to our office. Our phone number is 407-823-2811. That's my shameless plug. And we have counselors available throughout the day and after hours crisis support. CAPS has been, is currently, and will continue to be here for the UCF community. So stay safe and be well. Thanks.